nourished. The progress of civilization has led to an increasing concentration of population in cities and metropolis. Consequently, man has become divorced from nature and its rich, beautiful bounties. And what has the world got to grapple with? Numerous modern diseases taking their toll on mankind as a result of the consumption of unhealthy food and the adoption of wrong lifestyle. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. This famous quote, often attributed to Hippocrates, the father of medicine, coined almost 2,500 years ago, is still one of the greatest medicinal prescriptions ever offered to the human population. Now, one of the people making this maxim to be as relevant today is a renowned independent forest agricultural scientist, food and health expert, also referred to as the father of jungle farming, Dr. Kader Vali. His discovery about the immune boosting and healing properties of 5 types of millets found in India gave birth to the concept of Sridanyalu. As you know, millet is grown in the northern part of the country. Talking about Gero, Doro and the likes. Dr. Kader was a man that traveled the vast landmass of India regularly to share his success stories with various groups, hospitals, universities, etc., etc. We are privileged to have him here with us to share his millet revolution success story and beyond that. We're glad to have you on Health Options, Dr. Kader.
Thank you.
We're quickly going to go straight to the crux of the matter now. Millet is a crop I'm used to as a child, and what I didn't know about it is, the numerous medicinal benefits, the therapeutic benefits, the immune boosting benefits that millet harbors. And we're glad that you've come, in our midst today to share all of that. Quickly, what is it about millet, and especially these 5 types of millet that you're bringing on board?
Basically, there are various kinds of millets. The distinction is very clear. We have selected 5 of these millets and worked exclusively on various modern day patients, be it diabetes, be it blood pressure, be it cancer, including autoimmune diseases. We have found very good results on all these kinds of patients. And then we have researched and figured out why these particular 5 millets are the best to heal these modern day diseases.
So what are those medicinal properties inherent in them?
Various aspects, including the structure of the grain is imparting the healing properties, and the various nutritional values that are impregnated in these grains. And the modern day food is completely almost devoid of all these wonderful properties of these 5 grains. The most important thing of these grains is the structure of the grain, the fiber to the carbohydrate ratio. So the amount of fiber present in these wonderful grains is 8% to 12.5%. So foxtail millet has got 8% of fiber, kodo millet has got 9% of fiber, and little millet has got 9.8% of fiber, barnyard millet has got 10% of fiber, brown top millet has got 12.5% of fiber. And there are other millets like pearl millet, which is, I believe, still present in African continent.
Okay, actually, so the little millet is...
little millet is known as African millet.
Okay, so is it the same one we have
Absolutely.
in our own environment?
Very same.
Okay.
And that is a wonderful millet which can deal with lot of issues of hormonal imbalance, especially women, present day women. I don't think there is any woman in this world now not being affected by hormonal imbalance. So it's a wonderful grain which can correct all the issues related to the hormonal imbalance. That's called little millet. And it's known as African millet. Till recently, I believe you had it, and now I think you have lost the grain.
We no longer have it?
I believe so. There may be in some and corners of African villages.
But you think we don't have it in Nigeria?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious, about knowing if the one that we have here in the country, which we call gero, has the same medicinal properties. Is it as nutritious?
That as per millet. Yeah, it is nutritious value in giving wonderful amount of milk for the milking mothers.
Okay.
So, but it is failing to cure or heal the modern day diseases. So, it can give you the immune system, but to boost and make your diseases go away is possible only for this 5 minutes.
Still on the millets revolution and the value, the health benefits, and which mankind should just have to embrace, because whatever you have done had been based on research.
Yes.
So you have your evidences and all of that. I'm interested in, we're really looking at, the mode of preparation, because that's the next thing people are going to be asking. Okay,
Yes.
it's one thing to consume food. It's another to make sure that you've prepared it in such a way that you don't get to destroy the nutrients
Yes.
and render it useless.
Yes.
So let us into that.
This is a very good question, because ultimately everyone has to eat and eat right. The procedures of cooking and consuming so that we get the healing powers of the food that we eat. As I already explained to you, that the fiber content in these grains is reasonably high and compared to the rice and wheat that you are eating. And rice and wheat get cooked in no time. You just put it in hot water, it gets cooked.
Yes.
So the whole world now has got the habit of cooking in that fashion. And of late you do have all these pressure cookers and all kinds of nutritional values of the food that you eat is completely deranged. I would not say destroyed. It is deranged. It's come down and
reduced.
values are different. So the high pressure cooking is not the right way to eat. So the simple techniques that our ancestors used to follow is to soak the grain. The soaking is half cooking. So the grain, which has got high fiber, gets the water into the grain.
How long is it supposed to soak?
6 to 7 hours.
6 to 7 hours. Okay.
Minimum, and you can even soak overnight.
Okay.
It's not a big issue at all. But then people in the world have forgotten, including your lentils, you need to soak. When you soak, you can cook them on a low flame within 10 to 15 minutes. But then if you do not soak, even rice, you are cooking in pressure cooker. And this is the worst thing that has happened to the human race. So we have lost the patience. We want everything in a zip. And that should be first learned by the human race, that our ancestors knew what they were doing. So you soak the grain, allow the fiber to absorb all the water, and then boil. That way you preserve all the nutrients in the grain. And the fiber which is soaked well gets cooked well, and then it starts its wonders in the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know just how it works in dealing or the treatment of a non-communicable diseases like diabetes, and some others that you've mentioned.
Yes. And
I asked you this question because from my understanding, you're basically telling us that if one restricts himself to the Siridanyalu concept, that you're guaranteed optimal health.
Yep.
Does it mean these grains contain all the food nutrients
Yes.
that the body requires?
absolutely, absolutely. In fact, it contains even micronutrients. Not only the macronutrients like vitamins and salts, it also has got something called vitamin B17, even micronutrients. They all help us to be completely healthy. And wonderful thing about these 5 grains is that it's not just enough to give you the nutritious elements that we require, but the energy that we require to live is given by these grains in a slow and steady, regulated fashion. And the reason why it happens is the structure of the grain, the fiber and the carbohydrate are intertwined from the center of the grain. So when we boil, after soaking, the fiber gets digested slowly and steadily, releasing the glucose into your bloodstream in a regulated fashion. And that is the essence of these grains. And because it has the regulation and release of glucose, all things go on in normal, expected and designed fashion. And just the opposite happens in the present day foods. Be it rice, be it sugar, all this food that we are consuming on the go, releases glucose suddenly into your bloodstream. So if you just drink a Coke or Pepsi cup of 100 ml, you are dumping into your body approximately 25 grams of glucose. But the bloodstream needs to have around 5 to 6 grams of glucose at any given point of time. If you drink
maybe processed drink.
the processed drinks, you could delete that. The moment you take sugary liquids, in no time your blood is flooded with the glucose, including rice. When you eat rice, in 20-30 minutes, your blood gets glucose. Wheat, the same thing happens because there is absolutely no fiber in these grains. So the carbohydrate is directly digested and releasing glucose into the blood as a flood. So the confusion starts to the body parts. They do not know what to do. So they start making triglycerides, cholesterol, glycogen, meat, flesh. Instead of doing the right thing, sending the glucose into the cells and then burning it and releasing energy for our living, the other things become more important. That's how you do not get energy when you eat this. You are feeling tired, and so when you release glucose slowly and steadily, the glucose enters the cells, the carbon dioxide is released slowly and ATP is formed. Everything happens the way it is designed. That's why you feel energetic when you eat these grains over a period of time, up to 7 hours. You eat well in the morning and you don't need any more food till evening. And that is the beauty of this.
Okay, is this supposed to be just the boiling method, or other cooking methods can be used in the preparation of these grains?
Yeah, you could make different varieties of food materials, but whatever you do, you soak it.
Okay.
So if you make a flour of it and you want to make porridge, you don't need to soak for 7 hours. The flour you have already grinded, so the soaking time decreases. So 2 hours or 3 hours of soaking is good enough if you make a flour out of that.
Okay.
So we in India make different kinds of food items.
Okay, I'm equally coming to, because of the method of cooking, some might want to fry, and we know the issues surrounding oil.
Oil, yes.
Bad oil and all of that.
Yes.
We really moved away from the traditional methods of processing oil and all of that. So I want you to shed
Absolutely.
light.
Oil is one of the most important ingredients for the babies to grow up, because our liver, our brain, our kidney, our spleen, all these wonderful organs are 70% made of oil material. So if you supply the wrong oils when you are feeding the baby can go dysfunctional, and that's what is happening nowadays. So we need to concentrate on how we produce the oils. So earlier days we used to use an animal, like a bull driven, and then we used to extract the oils from these oil seeds like sesame seed, Niger seed, groundnut, coconut, palm. All these natural materials contain oils, and these oils, local and regional specific, are very good for our body. Growing babies, when they're growing up, you need this oil content in large quantities. Once you have grown up, you don't need the oil so much. You need only 3 to 4 spoons per day maximum. But while the kids are growing up, and if you supply the wrong oils, the oils present today in the plastic sachets are completely not real oils. They're all refined oils mixed with adulterated, and most of it is from animal fat. So the animal fat is absolutely not going to be right for our body. So when your kids are growing up, you need to give them wonderful vegetable oils which build up your internal organs, including the brain. So when you feed your baby animal fat, the synthesis of your brain cells itself is at stake.
So are you suggesting that we go back to the traditional methods?
Absolutely. That's the reason why I've come to Africa. Because you are losing all the wonderful traditional methods, falling prey to this modern procedures, modern way of doing things. You have to respect food. You have to respect the way you cook. So the kitchen should be your health giving place. Instead, people have lost respect for the kitchen. And that is where the problems have started.
Now you're here with the millet, for healthy millet concept, so to say. How do you expect Nigeria to benefit from this? What sort of collaboration should we expect? What are you bringing to the table?
We are, we are here to give you the information. We will give you the seeds that you have lost so that you can grow yourself and then feed the Nigeria and the Africa at large. These are the wonderful grains. By cooking properly and eating them well, all the health problems will disappear in a matter of 4 to 5 years. You can make Africa disease free, along with some of the plant materials, decoctions, which can help you in a quick... we are interested in giving the information and guiding the people in the right path.
Okay.
The business models or economic models which actually are consuming nature and then devour nature.
Okay, on a final note now, we are privileged to have you here, and we know that a lot of people have this huge appetite for meat consumption.
Yes.
And something scary that you said about how the bone marrow is the cradle of immunity for man. But somehow, because of the techniques used in the breeding of animals and all of that, has made everything to be compromised.
Yes.
Can you
Absolutely.
shed light on that?
In fact, I come from India.
Yes.
Non-violence, love nature, love the animals, love the plants. So we, I think, are the people from one nation who has been advocating vegetarianism, that human beings should be vegetarians, based on the concept of non-violence. And the present day, the topmost schools of research are slowly coming to the same conclusion, that human beings should be vegetarians if you want to have optimal health. The reasons are very simple. Now I will tell you one simple example. Milk. What is milk? Just let me ask you the question.
Well, I know milk as a product that comes from animals and human beings for the nourishment of the young, maybe babies.
The mammals.
Yeah,
it is called mammals, who have the breast to feed the baby.
Yeah, to lactate.
And milk is the most beautiful product, which is the most unstable product too.
What makes it unstable?
Because the way it is designed.
Okay.
And so the mother feeds the baby directly from the breast nipple to the mouth, and that should be the nature of milk. But then what have we done in the name of business? We are feeding the milk produced in a different animal to the human body, the cow milk. And we have introduced biotechnological innovations in the name of producing the milk in large quantities. You inject the cows with oxytocin, estrogen. So now the milk directly contains these steroids as residues. So when you feed your babies this hormone-rich milk, the body is being imbalanced. And that's what in my earlier session I told you about how we are imbalanced hormonally. So the problems start from there. And the meat is 10 times more hormonally imbalanced if you consume directly. And so what does this steroids do? It directly go and attack your bone marrow. And bone marrow is the place where your blood is synthesized, immunity is synthesized, T cells, immunoglobulins, platelets, all things that are required to create the resistance in your body.
Yeah.
So now if you're a meat eater, you're going to fall prey to all these diseases. And that's how we have chikungunya, dengue, H1N1, H5N1, HIV.
So the basic thing is just for us to go back to nature.
Absolutely.
Oh, good to know.
Absolutely.
All right, and we should go back to nature indeed, because nature is beautiful.
Yes.
All right. So
And non-violence is the essence of human existence.
Right.
So we need to carry the message of non-violence.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kadar, for your service to humanity. All from a credible authority. Let's go back to nature. What you eat is what you become. We look healthy when we eat good food. The millet revolution is surely a way to go, if you ask me, because of its tremendous health benefits and wealth creation. Talking about health and agriculture, especially with the economic diversification drive of the federal government. And that concludes this week's episode of Health Options. You can go to our YouTube channel for the upload of these and other episodes of the program. Email us for your comments and contributions at nta.gov.ng. My name is Rabi Abdullah. Many thanks for your time. Bye for now.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, Government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
Your eyes have it. Parenting can be quite difficult these days.
Papa, this one your thing is not good though.
I will not hesitate to withdraw her from that school.
It's even harder for young parents when they might feel the least prepared.
I will never forgive you if my daughter does not come back home safe and sound.
So this now too is my fault.
But with the right help, it can be the most fulfilling task in the world.
You will be working in a household as a governess.
This is Miss Nena, our new governess.
And you are?
Kofi Mensah, the chef.
Which chef?
I really would want you to come to the UK with me.
That sounds quite inviting.
Auntie, no, they use this kind of jazz they play. Oh, all these spirits of they walk around us. Oh.
And big family can stay a happy family. Robinton Family, drama for the whole family. Now showing.
Yes. One day as I did dab, they go. Now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be how my hold so.
Before, so
Climb every day. Come on, electric bill. You not gree pay.
waiting concern you for there. Abi, come over here.
Okay, oh. I don't talk my own. As I dab reach house.
Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up.
Waiting concern you for there. Abi, come over here.
Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I go report.
Don't be only report. Now report card.
Yes.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism.
Good morning and many thanks for joining us on the news update. I am Abdul Malik Adio. The Federal Executive Council has approved more than 2 billion naira for the provision of critical infrastructure to further strengthen security in the nation's aviation sector. This is coming less than 1 week after the sector was adjudged as one of the most secured in the aviation world. The Council equally approved the construction of 2 oil and gas parks towards providing better service for the petroleum industry in Nigeria.
413,963,035 naira and 75 kobo. This included all of the taxes, and the completion period, of course, is 2 months. That has been graciously approved by His Excellency Mr. President. This is in line with the suggestions and recommendations by UN Counter-Terrorism Unit and also the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO.
Now, the federal government is reassuring Nigerians that it will neither abdicate its responsibility nor fail to provide them an atmosphere devoid of security threat and criminality for a stable and prosperous future. President Muhammadu Buhari, who stated this while launching this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day Emblem Appeal Fund with 10 million naira, emphasized that peace and security of Nigeria is non-negotiable.
The task of resettling and rehabilitating our citizens, as well as the reconstruction of territories affected by the war, will continue to be one of our priorities of this administration. We shall not rest until all our displaced persons are safely resettled within their communities.
I wish also to remind us that the national security, without doubt, is the business of every Nigerian. I therefore call on Nigerians to be more security conscious.
President Muhammadu Buhari has assented to 5 bills, 2 of which will boost agricultural activities in Nigeria. Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Umar El Yakub, made this known while addressing the press.
The first 3 university bills are quite similar, and indeed have something in common to all the 3.